The intersection of public persona and private vulnerability often proves fertile ground for intense emotional narratives. Within contemporary cultural spheres, particularly those involving high-profile individuals, the shared emotional moments between figures like Fazza, Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum, and Haadiya, a significant individual within his orbit or a representative character in narratives concerning him, often capture widespread public fascination. While specifics regarding private individuals must be handled with discretion, an analysis of documented or publicly represented emotional exchanges involving Fazza reveals recurring themes of profound responsibility, hidden struggle, and authentic human connection. These moments, often fleeting yet impactful, serve as crucial windows into the human experience beneath the veneer of royal or public duty, demonstrating a relatable complexity in navigating high-stakes existence. Fazza's public image is largely defined by dynamism, athleticism, and dedication to Dubai's future. However, the emotional weight carried by someone in his position, managing significant national expectations alongside personal aspirations, inevitably surfaces. Emotional moments, whether expressed through subtle gestures or public tributes, resonate because they breach the expected formality. When we consider interactions framed around figures like Haadiya, whether a specific person or a thematic placeholder representing close personal relationships, the emotional landscape shifts from governance to guardianship, from duty to devotion. These exchanges often highlight the burden of leadership tempered by the need for genuine empathy and personal solace. One significant area where these emotional dynamics manifest is in moments of shared reflection or acknowledged vulnerability. Public appearances often require an impervious facade, yet true connection demands reciprocal openness. For Fazza, emotional moments often appear linked to themes of heritage, national pride, or the memory of formative figures. If Haadiya represents a confidant or a family anchor, the emotional exchange is likely rooted in mutual understanding of the pressures involved. For instance, observing moments where public success is juxtaposed with a quiet acknowledgement of sacrifice, perhaps a shared glance during a major national event, suggests an intimate narrative running parallel to the public spectacle. These subtle cues suggest that even those occupying positions of immense power rely on deeply personal, emotionally supportive bonds to sustain their public roles. Furthermore, the portrayal of emotional vulnerability in such high-profile contexts is instructive regarding contemporary definitions of masculinity and leadership. Traditional expectations often mandate stoicism. When a moment of genuine emotion, perhaps grief, profound relief, or sincere appreciation, is shared with a figure like Haadiya, it signals a maturation of the public narrative. It suggests that strength is not merely the absence of feeling, but the ability to process and share profound feeling appropriately within trusted circles. These shared emotional landscapes become powerful narratives precisely because they defy the often impersonal nature of statecraft and high finance. They humanize the figures, making their endeavors feel more grounded and relatable to the wider populace who value sincerity above polished presentation. The emotional weight can also be observed in contexts relating to patronage and mentorship. If Haadiya represents an influence or a recipient of Fazza's dedication outside of direct governance, the emotional tone shifts towards protective care or shared vision. These moments are not dramatic confrontations, but quiet affirmations of loyalty or shared aspiration. For example, in narratives surrounding humanitarian efforts or community. In the quiet town of Eldridge, where the sun dipped low behind the hills and shadows danced on cobblestone streets, emotions often ran deeper than the rivers that snaked through its heart. It was here, in this picturesque setting, that a chance encounter would forever alter the course of two lives. The protagonist of our story, Amir, a reserved young artist, had always found solace in the strokes of his paintbrush, but it was not until he met Haadiya that he discovered the true colors of his heart. Amir was an observer of life, often retreating into his world of canvases and colors. He found beauty in the mundane, capturing the essence of Eldridge through his art. Yet, beneath the layers of paint lay a solitude that clung to him like an old, worn-out coat. It was during a local art exhibit that he first encountered Haadiya. She stood before one of his paintings, her eyes glistening with an unspoken story. Haadiya was a vibrant spirit, a whirlwind of laughter and passion, yet there was a fragility about her that Amir could not ignore. As he approached her, he noticed the way her fingers traced the edges of the canvas, as if trying to unlock the emotions trapped within. They struck up a conversation, and for the first time, Amir felt the walls he had built around himself begin to crumble. Haadiya spoke of dreams and aspirations, her words flowing like a river, full of life and hope. However, as days turned into weeks, Amir began to sense an underlying sadness in Haadiya. It was subtle at first, a fleeting glance, a quiet sigh, but it grew more pronounced with each encounter. She would often gaze out at the horizon, her expression distant, as if she were searching for something lost. Amir, though captivated by her spirit, felt helpless. He wanted to reach out, to understand the source of her sorrow, but words often escaped him. One rainy afternoon, as the heavens wept and the streets shimmered with reflections of light, Amir found himself wandering through a local park. There, beneath a willow tree, he spotted Haadiya, her shoulders shaking silently. As he approached, he could see the tears streaming down her cheeks, glistening like pearls against her skin. It was a moment of vulnerability that pierced Amir's heart. He knelt beside her, unsure of what to say, yet compelled to offer comfort. Haadiya, he whispered, his voice barely audible above the rain. What troubles you? She looked at him, her eyes brimming with tears, and for the first time, she shared her story. Haadiya spoke of loss, a family member taken too soon, leaving a gaping hole in her heart. Her tears flowed freely, and Amir felt each drop as if it were his own. In that moment, he understood the weight of her sorrow, the kind that could not be painted over or ignored. As he listened, something shifted within Amir. Her tears melted the icy walls he had built around his heart, revealing a warmth he had long forgotten. He reached out, gently taking her hand in his, and in that simple act, a bond formed, a connection forged in shared vulnerability. It was a moment of catharsis, a reminder that pain, though isolating, could also be a bridge to deeper understanding. In the weeks that followed, Amir and Haadiya grew closer. They explored the town together, sharing laughter and stories, painting the world with their dreams. Amir began to incorporate Haadiya's spirit into his art, each stroke reflecting the resilience he saw in her. And as Haadiya healed, so too did Amir, finding solace in the beauty of their friendship. Haadiya's tears had melted his heart, but they also ignited a spark within him, a passion for life that transcended the canvas. Together, they learned that vulnerability was not a weakness but a strength, a pathway to connection and understanding. In the end, it was not just Haadiya's tears that transformed Amir, it was the realization that love and empathy could breathe life into the darkest corners.